So I want to show you a way to look at what's happening in the databases. So I'm in the Py4Web directory. You can say cd apps, cd fixtures example, and cd databases. Okay, so this is where the local SQLite file is. And if you have installed the SQLite 3 program, you can install it under Windows or under Mac or under Linux. It's the SQL driver. You can go to the documentation and read up about it. I will provide a URL for the installation, but then you can say simply SQLite 3 storage.db. This is the main database file. And so you can look into it and you can say tables. And this tells you which database tables are defined. You see that there is an auth user table and a Py4Web session table. This is used by the authentication system, and this is the table where the session is. So you can look at the content. For example, you can say schema Py4Web session. This tells you how the table is organized. It has an ID, there is a key, there is a value, which will be the session content, there is an expiration, and there is some data about when it was created and when it expires. And so you can say these, since the table has a little content, you can say select star, so select everything from Py4Web session, and this gives you the content, which may or may not be easy to read, but it says essentially that there are these various cookies. Okay, so these keys are the random strings that are in the cookies, and this is the content of the session. The session has a secret string, whether it was loaded via HTTPS, a timestamp, and in the first case not match. I think this was a session before I logged in, and in the second case it says that I am actually the user 1, and this is when I was active last. Okay, so this is the content of the Web2Py session table. You can also look at the content of the auth users table. You can ask what's the content of this auth user table. You know, how is the content organized? Well, it has an ID, an email, a password, a first name, last name. You can see various things inside, and so you can say select everything from auth user, and this will tell you what is in there. There is one user only. The email is luca@derfaro.com. This is my encrypted password, first name, and this is the last name, and the rest of the information is blank. Okay, so you can go examine what is going on in the database. This is a sort of the raw way using SQLite. There is also a way to use the dashboard. So if you want to examine the content of the database, you can go to the dashboard, you can click on installed applications, you can look at the fixture examples, which is what we were playing with, and you can look at the database. The database, we can see that there are 3 tables. One is for the session, the other one is for the auth user, so for the authentication module, and the last one is for some user and tag groups for some permission system. You can see here what the columns are in each table. You can see that the Web2Py session, Py4Web session table has a key, a value. These are the key, the cookie string, and the value is the cookie value. Then there's some additional information. The auth user has an email, password, first name, last name, and then some other stuff. So if you click, for example, on the session table, that is the content. It shows you that you have 2 records. These are the keys, which are the cookie contents. The values it refuses to tell us because they are encoded in some way and it does not want to print them, unfortunately. And these are the expiration dates. Or else we can go to the auth user table. It has only one record. There is luca@derfaro.com. The password, it doesn't want to show it to us. first name and last name and no other information. Okay, so this is a convenient way via the dashboard to look at the content of the database. The other way to look at the content of the database is instead to use SQLite.